First of all, my words are just mine and of nobody else. I don't represent anyone here, and I definitely don't represent Bitcoin community. And I'm nowhere related with the organizers of this conference. This was my country before the war started. In this talk, I will try to cover my experience with this war, the role of Bitcoin, and what lessons can you learn and use right now. Most of those lessons won't be easy or easy to swallow, but they will increase your chance to survive when the shit hits the fan, because it will. I was trained as a scientist. I started working with Bitcoin in 2011. I lived through Cyprus crisis in 2013. And I became practicing anarchist by applying scientific method and scientific knowledge to events that I lived through and what I have seen. The idea that we will be in war with Russian Empire was clear for me since 2004, when they tried violently manipulate the results of our elections. So I was set to prepare. Owning gun in Ukraine isn't easy, but I managed to buy my first Kravchenko in 2011. Around the same time, I became a member of Ukrainian Gun Owners Association, which is basically Ukrainian NRA. In 2013, I became strongly connected to the legislation process of legalizing gun ownership in Ukraine. And by this time, I did semi-regular training with my guns. In 2020, my trainings became weekly. Sometimes I burned more than 100 rounds on the session. Basically, I was coming through a light version of light infantry training. I was sure that I'm as prepared as any regular can be. The reality check was harsh. When all you have is your Kalash with some bullets, with your family at your back, and a couple dozen of other civilians, and for half an hour, you listen how an armed column enters your teeny city. Only then you get to understand what are you going to meet. There is big and active Bitcoin and crypto community in Ukraine. And of course, this war hit us hard. Were we afraid? Hell yes. Were we ready to give up? Hell no. Beauty of anarchy is that you don't wait for any orders. You just share a goal. So I immediately joined a logistic team that connected various people requiring support, teams with supplies and ability to fund them. And as you can understand, the availability of reliable 24/7 payment rails is extremely critical in such project. And of course, National Bank of Ukraine helped, quote unquote, us by fixing exchange rate 25% below the market and limiting transferring out of personal accounts to mere couple thousand of euro per month per person. That's why almost everything in first weeks was paid by Bitcoin and peer-to-peer Hawala system. Nobody knows how much funds were raised actually. By official SPY analysis result, north of 100 million was raised 3 months ago, during the first year of active invasion. More than 40 millions were raised in Bitcoin. Nobody knows how much money was raised for unofficial funds which continue to operate and supply necessary humanitarian and military resources to the people on the front line. Since most of those supplies are quoted in USD and Euro, all donations were immediately converted to fiat or dollar-pegged stablecoin. Lesson number one. Bitcoin, being superior money and having superior tech, failed here because it lacks liquid, stablecoin, fiat, on and off ramps. Tech is already here in form of RGB protocol. Go and build it, please. So this was our reaction to this event. What could be more proactive stance? What could you learn to be more prepared when this comes? What actionable lessons can you carry out? What can you learn from our experience? When crisis comes, it all of a sudden, it triggers your fight or flight response. And under the stress, you will always perform worse than you have planned or trained. So please, plan and train for shit to hit the fan. Plan, because it will. And when it will, you will have the most precious quality. You will be calm. By the way, the guy on the slide has bad trigger discipline. He is not prepared. Okay, so you decided to escape. Good luck. And remember to take all your possessions with you. Got 60-40 portfolio? Oops. Are you more conservative? Are you in gold? In real estate? Do you hold cash on your bank accounts? Tough luck. Those few banks that will be still working will impose heavy limits on your transfers. Expect exchange rate to be fixed not in your favor. Good luck transferring physical gold through the war zone, or even paper cash. With the real estate, at best, you will get really limited liquidity. Capital markets would be shut down. And suddenly, you might find yourself of wrong nationality, and your funds will be legally frozen and confiscated. Got Bitcoin? You just cross the border and find a local exchange. And even personal searches won't reveal your 12 or 24-word seed phrase. Lesson learned. Keep a large chunk of your capital in Bitcoin. Have you decided to stay and fight? Unpleasant surprise. Police won't protect you. It's not the job of police. Job of police is to enforce the law. Army won't save you either. The goal of army is not to help you, it's to fight the other army. Lesson learned. You can't outsource your physical safety and security to the third party, especially if it's run by state. Another unpleasant surprise. You will have to resort to violence. And if you are just like John Lennon and think that you will help system by this, remember that he handled it badly when he met the real deadly force. Listen, it's okay to fear death. It's okay to fear pain. What's not okay is your fear to direct your actions. Listen, many people are so fucking afraid of death that they bury themselves alive. And you see the streets full of mindless zombies driven by their fears and their momentary lust. And remember, when you make the decision, you implicitly accept every consequence of that decision. And you can't hide by saying, I make no decision, because it's also a decision. And by letting other people to decide for you, you will get exactly what you are fearing for. So, what are our chances to oppose aggression? What if it is organized aggression? What if it is state-level aggression? You can't forever flee because Earth is small and round. And you, even if you will be able to escape to death, you don't want your children to fight the fight you are fleeing for. How can we have sovereign protection without using the third party? Bitcoin is built on asymmetrical cryptography. If it will be broken, Bitcoin will cease to work and you have to resort to trusting third party. Likewise, your ability to protect yourself is based on your decision to protect yourself and your ability to protect yourself. And the most effective means of protecting yourselves are firearms. When you seize your right to bear arms, you will be forced into obedience. Bitcoin is bearer money. If you lose your seed phrase, they are gone. Here, on the other side of the shoal, you can learn a lot of lessons how you can digitally protect your Bitcoin. But every security specialist will tell you that human is the weakest chain in every security setup. Hence the proverbial $5 range and soldering iron that is more familiar to post-Soviet businessmen. Still believe police will protect you? Tough luck. Police will watch your house on fire during mostly peaceful protests. And army will happily kiss you goodbye when they will get the orders. And that is the best case. Because in real life, unelected bureaucrats will make a collective decision so nobody could be blamed personally. And police will enforce the law on you because that's their job. An army will tie your hands and shoot you in the head because of orders. Far too many people believe that hyper-Bitcoinization, when it happens, will be, hola, peace, sing kumbaya, everyone build friends. Hell no. Conflict is a natural state of affairs between hominids. It's peace that is unusual, and peace is built on respect on private property, and you own your property only when you can protect it. But state is established aggression against your private property right. It is the main function of state to rob you. State officials do it in the most inefficient manner because they are not personally rewarded for the result of their work. And this attracts to the state service most sadistic, religiously motivated person. Back to the topic, how do I oppose institutional aggression? I decided to be free. I'm ready to take the consequences. But my state don't allow me to own a gun. Well, your state don't allow you to run a bank either. Make one. There is a living community of homemade firearms on the internet that make everything from guns to rockets to autonomous weapons. And you know what the problem they have? They have no business model. Because there was no red hat moment in their industry being highly regulated. But time, Bitcoin, uncensorable money. Bitcoiners, you have learned to protect yourself. And self-made firearms will remain an fringe hobby without business model. I think this can be a beginning of a beautiful friendship. You can't do it all yourself. Cooperate, find friends, create communities. Security and safety is just another service. Find ways to fund it because you will be tired of donations. Permanent fundraising doesn't work. Buy it. Buy insurance against adverse events. Once again, tech is already here. Just imagine what would do insurance underwriters if every citizen of Ukraine would be insured for $1 million. What they will do to the Russian army. Lesson learned. Summing it up. Free world could be built on two steps, on two legs. Libre money and libre arms. Bitcoin desperately needs financing and contracting layer. Tech is already here in the form of RGB contracts. You can't do it yourself. Cooperate. Finance it with insurance. And however desperate are you, don't surrender. Bravery and stupidity almost always go together. And guys, they win much more frequently than one would rationally suppose. And if you will remember just a couple things from all the math that I told you, please remember, there is only one thing that kills dreams: compromise. Never compromise your dream. And don't panic. Thank you.